Guys, listen up. If you're seeing a girl and she drops certain lines on you, it doesn't matter how hot she is or how much chemistry you think you've got. Grab your keys, your self-respect, and your peace of mind and head for the door. I'm not talking about little spats or playful banter. These are the kinds of statements that cut deep, showing you her real attitude, her goals, and just how little she values you as a guy. Way too many dudes brush these off because they're hooked on the looks, the feelings, or the dread of going solo. They tell themselves it's no big deal or she was just venting. But here's the straight talk. Women don't toss out hurtful stuff by mistake. When she says something, it's a peek into how she really views you, even if it's wrapped in a cute voice or a flirty grin. You know, the way women communicate is pretty intriguing. They're pros at dropping hints without going full blast. She might say it all nice and gentle, but it's like a hidden jab right at your ego and confidence. And if you let it go unchecked, you're basically giving her the green light to keep walking all over you. This isn't about being suspicious or jumping to conclusions. It's about realizing that what people say shows who they really are. If she hits you with these 5 key phrases, it's not just a warning sign. It's a blaring siren you can't afford to tune out. By the time this video wraps, you'll spot exactly what to watch for, why these words are toxic, and how catching them quick can spare you months of frustration, heartbreak, and a setup that's quietly tearing you apart. Fellas, some of you might be nodding along because you've heard this stuff in your own situation right now. If that's you, it could be time to make a tough call. One, that's just how I am. The excuse that dodges responsibility. When a girl tells you, that's just how I am, it's rarely about owning her quirks. It's more like her way of saying she won't change, no matter how it affects you. This line is sneaky because it flips the script, making you feel like you're the one who has to deal with it or get out. Why is it so bad? A solid relationship needs both sides to grow and adjust for each other. If you point out something that's bugging you, like her always canceling plans last minute, and she hits back with, that's just how I am, she's not open to fixing it. She's closing the door on your input. The real issue here is it builds up over time. You'll start biting your tongue on stuff that matters because you know she'll just shrug it off. That's how trust and teamwork fade away, not in one huge blow-up, but in these tiny moments where your needs get ignored. In how women think, this is a low-key way to keep control. By acting like her habits are set in stone, she puts the burden on you to adapt or leave. And if you stick around without pushing back, you're showing her it's cool to ignore your feelings. Picture this. You've planned a chill night in, but she shows up 2 hours late, phone in hand, scrolling through social media like nothing happened. You say, "Hey, it bothers me when you're this late without a heads up." She rolls her eyes and goes, "That's just how I am. I hate being rushed." Boom! That's not a real apology. It's her shifting the blame from her flakiness to you expecting too much. Let that slide, and you're setting up a pattern where your time and effort don't count. Dudes, keep this in mind. A girl who truly respects you will hear you out and try to meet you halfway, not hide behind excuses. If she's always using her personality as a shield against your boundaries, she's telling you loud and clear that your happiness isn't on her radar. And if that's the vibe, the wise choice is to bounce before you lose your cool and your self-worth. 2. My ex would. The backhanded dig that stirs up doubt. When she starts bringing up her ex, like, my ex would always surprise me with gifts, it's not just reminiscing. It's her way of saying you're falling short compared to some guy from her past. This hits hard because it makes you question if you're measuring up, and it sows seeds of jealousy and insecurity. The danger? It turns the relationship into a ghost competition where you're battling memories instead of building something new. Psychologically, Women sometimes do this to nudge you into stepping up, but it often backfires by making you feel inadequate. You might start overcompensating, buying stuff, or changing habits just to outdo this invisible rival, and that kills your natural vibe. A girl who's really into you won't drag her history into every chat. She'd focus on what makes you awesome right now, not how you stack up against old flames. For example, you're out driving, and she complains about your music choice, saying, "My ex would play the best playlists on road trips." It might seem casual, but underneath, she's implying he's better at keeping things fun, and you should copy that. That's not helpful advice, it's a subtle put down. Over months, these little jabs wear you down until you're not the confident guy she first liked. Guys, pay attention. If she's always holding up her ex as the gold standard, it's not motivation. It's a signal to exit before your ego takes too many hits. 3. You're overthinking it. The shutdown that kills open talk. If she says, "You're overthinking it," when you bring up a concern, it's usually not about helping you relax. It's her dodging a real conversation. This phrase is manipulative because it makes your worries seem silly, like you're the problem for even noticing. Why is it risky? Good relationships rely on honest chats where both sides feel heard. If you mention something off, like her texting a guy friend late at night, and she brushes it off with "you're overthinking it," she's not addressing the issue. She's invalidating your gut feeling. This chips away at your trust in yourself. You'll second-guess every red flag because you've been trained to think it's all in your head. In female mindset stuff, it's a clever deflection to keep things her way without effort. Accept it, and you're letting her set the rules on what's worth discussing. Imagine you've noticed she's been distant lately, pulling away during dates. You ask, "Is everything okay?" Feels like something's up. She sighs and says, "You're overthinking it. Everything's fine." That's not reassurance. It's a wall going up. If you don't call it out, you're okaying a dynamic where your instincts don't matter. Men, a respectful partner will dive into the talk, not dismiss it. If she's quick to label your thoughts as overkill, she's prioritizing her comfort over your peace. Time to walk if that's the pattern. Subscribe to Stoic 24 and hit the bell icon. For "I was just joking," the cover-up for real shade. When she drops a hurtful comment and follows it with "I was just joking," it's not lighthearted fun. It's often a test to see how much you'll take. This line is tricky because it disguises disrespect as humor, making you feel uptight if you push back. The problem? It normalizes crossing lines, and over time, those jokes reveal her true opinions about you. In relationships, banter is cool, but if it's always at your expense, like mocking your job or looks, and she hides behind "just kidding," it's eroding your confidence. Women might use this to vent frustrations without owning them, but it leaves you doubting what's real. A girl who values you will keep jokes mutual and uplifting, not one-sided digs. Say you're sharing a story about a tough day at work, and she laughs. "Yeah, no wonder you're stuck in that dead-end job. I was just joking." It stings, and her follow-up doesn't erase it. That's not playfulness, it's passive aggression. Let it go repeatedly, and you'll end up resenting her while she thinks it's fine. Dudes, real humor builds you up. If her jokes keep tearing you down, it's a sign to protect your vibe and move on. 5. You always/never. The blame game that ignores facts. Starting sentences with "you always" or "you never," like "you always forget important dates" or "you never listen," isn't feedback. It's exaggeration that paints you as the villain. This is destructive because it generalizes one slip-up into a character flaw, making fair talks impossible. Why so harmful? It shifts focus from the issue to attacking you, breeding defensiveness and arguments. Over time, you'll feel like nothing you do is enough, as these absolutes erase your good efforts. In how women communicate, It can be a way to express built-up frustration, but without specifics. It's just unhelpful criticism. A healthy partner uses "I feel" statements to share without accusing. For instance, you help around the house most days, but miss one chore, and she snaps, "You never do anything to help." It's not accurate, it's emotional overkill. This builds walls instead of bridges. Guys, if she's stuck on these extremes, it's draining your energy. Demand better or find someone who sees the full picture. Fellas, this might sting, but most guys don't get dumped because they weren't perfect. They get dumped because they overlooked signs of fading respect. Respect is the foundation before any love sticks. Lose it, and no amount of trying will keep her around for good reasons. Here's the bold truth. A girl might say she loves you but still bail, yet she'll stick with a guy she genuinely respects through thick and thin. If these 5 lines are popping up, it's not true connection. It's a breakup waiting to happen. Now, tell me in the comments, have any of these hit home for you? What went down? Share your story. I check them all and reply when I can. Your tale could snap another dude out of a bad spot. And don't miss the next one. We'll break down the sneaky ways women gauge your confidence without you catching on. Think you've sailed through unscathed? Get ready for a wake-up call. Subscribe to Stoic 24 and hit the bell icon so you're first in line. Catch you next time.